She came home after 10 and tossed her keys on the granite counter like I wasn't there. No hello, no acknowledgement, just that flat, distant look she'd perfected over the past 2 months. The bracelet caught the kitchen light as she reached for a bottle of sparkling water, that Tiffany piece she claimed was a performance bonus from the resort. What's with the silent treatment? I kept my voice neutral. I was finishing up quarterly reports on my laptop because the Phoenix territory wasn't going to manage itself. Medical equipment sales don't pause for marital drama. Long client event again? Jessica cracked the bottle open. Don't start, Austin. You're always hovering. She gestured at my laptop setup. Can a person decompress without the third degree? Where else would I be? It's our kitchen, and I've got numbers to review before tomorrow's conference call with corporate. Regional sales managers don't get to coast, especially not when you're tracking toward President's Club for the second consecutive year. Did something happen at work? You've been distant for weeks. You're reading into things, she said, taking a sip while her eyes stayed fixed on her phone. Maybe dial back the neediness. Neediness? That word hit different when you're pulling down $280,000 in medical equipment sales and just secured the largest account in Arizona territory history. I'm asking for basic communication with my wife. You're being dramatic. She smiled without warmth, the kind of expression that makes you question your own sanity. It's not attractive. If I'd known where this was headed, I would have closed the laptop and opened a beer instead. I gestured toward the dining table we'd picked out together 3 years ago when we bought this Desert Ridge house. Sit. Let's figure out why you think wanting to talk to you is dramatic. Stop pushing, it's annoying. She stayed leaning against the counter like we were roommates who barely tolerated each other instead of husband and wife. I'm not pushing, I'm married. I closed the laptop with more force than necessary, the sound echoing in the kitchen we'd renovated last spring. Congratulations, she muttered, grabbed her water, and walked to the living room like I was furniture to navigate around. I followed with my own drink, hoping to salvage something from the wreckage of another evening. We used to sit together after long days, compare war stories from our respective corporate trenches. She'd tell me about difficult resort guests and event planning disasters. I'd share territory wins and client relationship challenges. Now she scrolled through her phone, laughing at content I wasn't invited to see. No explanation, no effort, just the kind of cold distance that makes you question everything you thought you knew about your partnership. The following week, I tried the traditional husband playbook, the kind of moves that used to work back when she actually wanted to be married to me. Flowers delivered to the resort where she worked as hospitality events coordinator. 24 white roses, her favorite, with a card that said, "Thinking of you." Dinner reservation at her favorite steakhouse downtown, the place with the dry-aged ribeye she used to rave about. I even surprised her with those expensive macarons from the French bakery in Scottsdale. The ones that cost $18 for 6 pieces, but used to make her face light up like Christmas morning. She glanced at the pink box sitting on our granite counter. Trying too hard. Since when is effort a bad thing? I asked, genuinely confused by the rules of this new game we were apparently playing. Since it's desperate. She shrugged and walked away, leaving the box unopened on the counter, like evidence of my failure to understand whatever test I was failing. I learned something important that night, something they don't teach you in business school or sales training. Attention without respect is worthless currency, and I was overpaying for scraps of acknowledgement from someone who'd already checked out of our partnership. That Saturday, I tried direct communication, the kind of straightforward conversation that works in boardrooms and client meetings. We were in the garage, and I was checking the tire pressure on her BMW, routine maintenance she always forgot about, but complained when poor tire performance affected her commute to the resort. "Look, I need you to be straight with me," I said, holstering the pressure gauge and meeting her eyes. "You've been cold, dismissive. You come home late, leave early. If you want out, say it in English." She leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed like a defendant who'd already decided not to cooperate with questioning. "Why do you always jump to drama? People get busy with work." "Busy with what exactly? Your calendar's been lighter than usual." I'd noticed because I handle our shared Google Calendar for social events and couple obligations. Dinner parties, charity functions, the kind of networking that comes with our professional positions. "Don't interrogate me, Austin." Her voice carried warning now, the tone she probably used with difficult resort guests. "I'm asking for clarity from my business partner in this marriage. I kept my voice level, using the same controlled tone that closed deals and managed difficult territory situations. "You're being clingy," she said, pushing off the frame with finality. "It's gross." "Try again," I said, very calmly, giving her one more opportunity for honesty. "Give me an adult answer." She walked back inside and cranked up the music loud enough to end the conversation, loud enough to announce that discussion time was officially over. By the following Monday, sarcasm had replaced silence entirely. She mocked the way I organized my travel bag for territory visits. She rolled her eyes at my gym schedule, posted on the refrigerator, the routine that kept me sharp for long days of client presentations and contract negotiations. Small things, but she weaponized them like a sniper, picking off my confidence one calculated shot at a time. At dinner with friends that Wednesday, she went public with her campaign of subtle destruction. We were at Harold and Diana's house, her parents, for their weekly family dinner, the kind of standing obligation that comes with marrying into a close-knit family. Madison, Jessica's younger sister, was there fresh from her nursing clinicals at Phoenix General, still wearing scrubs and looking exhausted from pulling double shifts. Harold made a joke about my truck, the old Ford I kept for weekend projects, despite having a company Mercedes for client visits. Jessica pounced like she'd been waiting for the opening. "Don't get Austin started on that truck. He loves that piece of junk more than me. He'll spend 3 hours detailing it, but forget our anniversary." I looked at her across the table, noting how easily lies rolled off her tongue when she had an audience. "We went to Sedona for our anniversary, 2 nights at L'Auberge de Sedona, the suite overlooking Oak Creek." She smirked, doubling down on the fiction. "Right, the romantic weekend where he spent half the time on conference calls with the East Coast Territory managers. One call, 15 minutes, emergency situation with a major hospital account." I kept my voice level, but something cold was crystallizing in my chest. Madison shifted uncomfortably in her chair. Diana tried to redirect the conversation towards safer topics. Harold cleared his throat like a warning shot across the family dinner table. "If you're going to take a shot," I said, meeting Jessica's eyes directly, "at least aim for accuracy. Or do we save the creative writing for when the audience is bigger?" "Touchy," Jessica said, leaning back in her chair with that practiced smile. "See? He can't handle a simple joke." "Learn the difference between jokes and character assassination," I replied, cutting into my steak with more precision than necessary. That's when Madison jumped in with a story about her nursing rotation in the cardiac unit, skillfully redirecting the conversation away from our dysfunction. Smart kid. Always had better emotional intelligence than her older sister. Better instincts for when situations needed defusing. On the drive home through the Desert Ridge streets we'd called home for 4 years, Jessica stared out the passenger window like I was an Uber driver she'd rather not tip. At the house, she went straight to the master bedroom and engaged in her nightly performance of pretending to sleep. I lay there staring at the ceiling, making mental lists I didn't want to make, calculating the cost of continuing to invest in something that was generating negative returns. I talked to people who would tell me the truth instead of managing my feelings. My buddy Travis from the gym, a construction foreman who'd been through his own divorce and didn't believe in sugarcoating reality. Harold, when Jessica wasn't around to monitor the conversation. Even Madison, who never sugarcoated anything and didn't owe me diplomatic answers just because I was family by marriage. Travis was characteristically direct during our morning workout. "You're bending over backward for someone who's already checked out, man. Stop auditioning for a role you already have. Either she wants to be married to you or she doesn't." Harold surprised me during one of our Saturday morning coffee runs to the local diner. "Son, I've watched you treat my daughter like royalty for 4 years. Whatever's happening in your marriage isn't about your effort level or commitment." Madison was the most surgical when we met at a coffee shop near ASU campus, between her study sessions for nursing board certification. "Austin, I love my sister, but she's treating you like a placeholder. Don't let her practice her exit strategy on your time while she figures out what she really wants." Even with that chorus of reality in my ear, I still wanted to salvage what we'd built together. 4 years of marriage, shared goals, the house in Desert Ridge with the pool and 3-car garage, the country club membership we used for client entertainment and charity events. History has weight. Habit is powerful. The sunk cost fallacy applies to relationships just as much as business investments. I gave Jessica one final opportunity for honest communication, approaching it like a crucial client presentation, where everything depended on clarity and mutual understanding. Made dinner exactly how she liked it. Salmon with that dill sauce she'd taught me to make, roasted vegetables from the farmer's market, wine from the bottle we'd been saving for a special occasion that never seemed to arrive. Candlelight, quiet music. Phones banished to another room, like electronic distractions in a boardroom negotiation. She sat down at our dining table, glanced at the candle setup, and smiled without warmth. Date night at home, how quaint. Conversation night, actually. I slid an envelope across the table, the kind of formal presentation that usually accompanied important business decisions. Inside was a letter I'd written that morning, not poetry or emotional pleading, but a straightforward assessment of what I observed and what I required going forward: respect, effort, transparency. The basic components of any functional partnership. She didn't touch the envelope, treating it like evidence she didn't want to acknowledge. Is this a performance review? Do I need to initial somewhere? It's my baseline, what I require from this partnership to continue investing my time and energy. She stabbed a piece of salmon, chewing slowly while she calculated her response. You always were good with spreadsheets and systems. I'm good with standards. This represents mine. She swallowed, then looked at me directly for the first time in weeks. And if I don't meet your requirements, then we stop pretending there's anything here worth saving, and we handle the dissolution like adults. She took a breath like she might actually engage in honest conversation. Then her phone lit up with a text message and she smiled. The real smile, the genuine expression of pleasure she used to give me before redirecting it elsewhere entirely. Client coordination? I asked, noting how her entire demeanor shifted with that single notification. Resort event planning. We have a major corporate retreat next week. The planning team needs to coordinate catering logistics. She stood, already reaching for her purse like our conversation had reached its natural conclusion. At 9:30 on a Tuesday evening? Hospitality doesn't follow banker's hours, Austin. You know that. She was moving toward the front door with practiced efficiency. These executives fly in from different time zones. We accommodate their schedules. Of course. Don't wait up? Probably not. These planning sessions can run late when we're coordinating multiple vendors and entertainment options. She paused at the door, hand on the handle. Thanks for dinner. The salmon was perfect. That was the night I stopped giving speeches and started implementing strategic solutions. The next morning, I executed what I'd later think of as operational adjustments. No drama, no announcements, just pure logistics applied to domestic arrangements. I moved my clothes to the guest room, organizing them in the built-in closet with the same systematic approach I use for territory management. Split our bank accounts, routing my salary to a new checking account while maintaining automatic payments for shared expenses from our joint account. Took my garage door remote off her car visor and left my spare house key on the kitchen hook where she'd find it. Then I changed our home security codes and texted her the new ones with a brief professional message. House codes updated for security protocols. Your access unchanged. Also, I'll be unavailable for evening discussions for the foreseeable future. Extra focus required for Q4 territory expansion and new client acquisition initiatives. When she found my clothes gone from the master bedroom that evening, she stood in the doorway of the guest room like a property manager conducting an inspection. What exactly is this? She gestured at my organized stacks on the dresser, my suits hanging in the smaller closet. Personal space optimization. It helps me think more clearly about business priorities. This is so dramatic, Austin. It's practical. I sleep better when I'm not wondering what time you're coming home from client coordination meetings. I didn't look up from the territory report spread across the guest room desk. She stared down the hall toward the empty half of our walk-in master closet. Are you trying to punish me? No, I'm adjusting to current realities and optimizing my personal efficiency accordingly. You're overreacting because I had a late planning session. Because you've systematically checked out of this marriage when it suits your schedule, and I'm not going to continue arguing with someone who treats our partnership like a convenience store, available when you need something, ignored otherwise. She started to respond, then stopped. That night she came home at a reasonable hour with takeout from my favorite barbecue place, setting it on the counter without comment. Thought you weren't interested in small talk, she said, attempting something that might have been playfulness. Got your usual brisket platter with extra sauce. Classic mid-turn strategy, I thought. The soft approach after the hard rejection. Testing whether I'd return to previous patterns of grateful accommodation. Thanks, I said, not moving from my laptop setup in the home office. I'm working through some client presentations, conference call with the Portland territory team in 20 minutes. She nodded too quickly, smile faltering slightly. Sure, handle your business. For the next several days, she deployed what I recognized as reconciliation theater. Photos of our golden retriever from old vacation trips sent to my phone during work hours. A kiss on the cheek before leaving for the resort instead of her usual air kiss performance. She even asked about my quarterly projections like she cared about my professional success. It almost worked. The familiar gestures loosened my defenses slightly, triggered muscle memory of better times when she actually invested effort in our partnership. Then she started disappearing again, this time without the courtesy of creative excuses about client coordination or vendor management. Wednesday night, she walked through our front door at 12:47 a.m., carrying her heels like a college student, sneaking past residence hall curfew. I was at the kitchen table with territory reports and a cup of coffee, reviewing account performance metrics for the next day's regional conference call. Late vendor coordination session? I asked, without looking up from the quarterly projection spreadsheet. She flinched, clearly not expecting to find me there. Couldn't sleep anyway. Thought I'd take a drive around the neighborhood, clear my head. In heels and that black cocktail dress? Must have been some scenic route through Desert Ridge. Don't be weird about it, Austin. Where was tonight's client entertainment event? She paused, calculating. Different property. Industry networking function at the Phoenician. Hospitality professionals from across the valley. I glanced at my watch. Networking until nearly 1 in the morning. Arizona hospitality really is committed to relationship building. Stop. Interrogating me like I'm on trial. I returned to my reports, keeping my voice conversational. Just trying to understand your new professional obligations. Seems like the event coordination business has expanded significantly in recent months. She said nothing and headed for the master bedroom shower. As she passed, the smell of unfamiliar cologne drifted past me like evidence I wasn't supposed to detect. Expensive and distinctly masculine in a way that had nothing to do with resort vendor meetings or hospitality industry networking. I called Danny the next morning. He's a private investigator we use sometimes when company equipment goes missing, and insurance requires thorough documentation for claims, professional, discreet, allergic to unnecessary drama or emotional complications. I need verification, I told him over the phone, treating it like any other business transaction that required accurate documentation. 3 days of surveillance on my wife's evening activities. If there's nothing questionable, I'll pay the retainer and sleep better, knowing I was wrong. If there's something, I'll stop being generous with my assumptions. Danny didn't ask for justification speeches or emotional context, pure professional efficiency. Send me her vehicle information, work schedule, usual patterns, and a recent photo. I'll provide regular updates with photographic documentation. I wired the money from my new personal account and went back to managing my territory like nothing had changed. The Phoenix region wasn't going to run itself while I sorted out domestic complications. 18 hours later, I received Danny's first text message. A photo of Jessica in casual clothes stepping into a silver Porsche Cayenne that definitely wasn't from her resort's vehicle fleet. The driver was a man whose hand placement on her lower back suggested familiarity well beyond professional networking or vendor coordination. Additional photos followed over the next 48 hours. A walk through Kierland Commons shopping district, stopping at jewelry stores and high-end boutiques. A cozy table at Mastro's Steakhouse where she laughed at his conversation like they were sharing private comedy gold. The valet at Four Seasons Scottsdale taking keys from that same silver Porsche at 11:30 p.m. Danny included relevant details with each update. The man's name was Richard Henley, investment advisor specializing in high net worth clients. His address in Paradise Valley. The timeline showing their meetings consistently occurred during Jessica's claimed client coordination hours. He didn't editorialize or provide commentary. The photographic evidence spoke its own clear language about recreational activities that had nothing to do with resort event planning or hospitality industry networking. When I set the phone down after reviewing the complete documentation, the only emotion I felt was the click of a decision lock engaging in my mind. No anger, no betrayal speeches. Just the clean geometry of what came next. I called Marcus that afternoon. He's a divorce attorney I know from country club golf tournaments and charity fundraising events. Smarter than his 12 handicap suggests. Ruthless with legal paperwork instead of courtroom theatrics. We met in his office overlooking Camelback Mountain and the sprawling Phoenix Valley. I slid Danny's complete file across his mahogany desk. Photographs, timestamps, documentation, my preliminary asset inventory compiled with the same attention to detail I used for major client presentations. I'm not here to debate relationship morality or explore reconciliation possibilities, I told Marcus with the same directness I used in territory planning meetings. I want clean separation executed efficiently. I'm not interested in burning anything down or playing games with property division. I want the exit route clearly marked and the legal path streamlined. Marcus reviewed everything methodically, his expression remaining professionally neutral throughout. This documentation is comprehensive and well organized. With this evidence, we can file immediately. You have extremely strong positioning for favorable property division. He tapped his Mont Blanc pen against the mahogany surface. My recommendation, don't announce our filing until papers are ready for service. No previews, no advance warnings, because previews invite countermeasures and emotional complications. You want this legal train on the tracks and moving before she realizes it's departed the station. Understood and agreed. One additional strategic point, Marcus added, leaning forward slightly. Stop any behavior that could be interpreted as reconciliation attempts. No gifts, no romantic gestures, no intimate conversations. Hold your current position without deviation. I'm already maintaining that approach, I said. I can make it permanent until this concludes. Perfect. We'll have everything drafted and filed by week's end. That evening, I prepared dinner for one person and settled into my new routine of controlled domestic independence. When Jessica arrived home, she approached with a careful expression, like she'd been practicing contrition during her drive from whatever client coordination session had actually been another evening with Richard Henley. Austin, she began, her voice softer than it had been in months, carefully modulated for maximum emotional impact. I've been thinking about our conversation the other night. I know I've been difficult lately, probably more than you deserve. Work stress has been intense with the new corporate contracts, and I haven't been prioritizing our relationship properly. Noted, I said, continuing to load the dishwasher with systematic efficiency. I genuinely want to do better, make more effort. Maybe we could plan something special this weekend, just the two of us, no work distractions, no phones allowed. I have territory reviews scheduled for this weekend, Phoenix to Tucson client visits, then Sunday morning meeting with potential new accounts in Mesa. She tried to place her hand on my arm, a gesture that might have worked 3 months ago. Then next weekend, whatever you want to do, wherever you want to go. I moved away politely, maintaining professional distance. We'll evaluate the schedule when next weekend arrives. Her eyes shifted, confusion replacing the calculated warmth. Are you trying to punish me for working late? I'm managing my expectations based on demonstrated behavioral patterns over recent months. That sounds cold, Austin. It's realistic risk management applied to personal relationships. 4 weeks later, Marcus sent a text confirming that all documentation was drafted, filed, and ready for service. Maintain complete radio silence about legal proceedings, he wrote. Service happens Thursday morning at her workplace, professional and discreet. I maintain my established routine without deviation. Early morning gym sessions with Travis, territory management calls, evening reports, and client follow-up. I informed Travis and Madison about the legal action I'd initiated, and they both responded with the same sentiment. Finally, Madison added something that stuck with me. You gave her every opportunity to be honest. The rest isn't your responsibility to manage. The month passed like a slow metronome, counting down to an inevitable conclusion. Jessica cycled through predictable moods, strategically sweet one day, professionally sharp the next, then carefully distant when neither approach generated the response she wanted. She'd adjusted her evening schedule to include more time at home, but not from renewed commitment to our marriage. She was managing optics while maintaining her other arrangements, like a consultant juggling multiple clients with conflicting demands. I didn't argue with the performance. I didn't volunteer information about my legal preparations. The service would arrive when it arrived, and until then, I maintained my professional distance. Then we encountered an obligation we couldn't dodge. Harold and Diana's 50th wedding anniversary dinner. 5 decades of marriage, the kind built on shared labor and honest communication. They deserve celebration, not contamination from our dysfunction. Jessica spent the afternoon preparing like nothing was wrong. Hair appointment, makeup, the full preparation ritual. She even chose to wear that Tiffany bracelet, the one she claimed was her performance bonus, despite knowing the resort's established policy of cash-only incentive payments. I wore a clean button-down shirt and drove us in my Mercedes, maintaining the kind of professional courtesy I'd show a business associate. During the 20-minute drive through Paradise Valley, she scrolled through her phone and laughed once at something angling the screen away from my view, like we were strangers sharing rideshare transportation. At Harold and Diana's house, warmth embraced us immediately. Diana hugged us with hands still dusted from anniversary cake preparation. Harold handed me a beer and squeezed my shoulder with the kind of paternal gesture that acknowledges unspoken challenges without requiring explanation. Madison was already there, having driven directly from her shift at Phoenix General, still wearing scrubs but smiling genuinely when she saw me. She mouthed, "How are you holding up?" across the living room. I gave a slight nod of acknowledgement. Dinner began perfectly. Harold and Diana shared stories from their early marriage years. How he proposed with a ring purchased by selling his prized motorcycle. How she cried with happiness when their first house offer was accepted. Normal family celebration. The kind of anniversary milestone that deserves unmarred joy. Jessica systematically changed the emotional temperature. "Austin's become quite the independent operator lately," she announced to the table with that practiced smile firmly in place. "Moved himself into the guest room for better focus on work projects." She made air quotes around focus. Diana blinked, clearly uncomfortable. "Oh!" I cut into my prime rib calmly, refusing to take the bait. "Separate spaces can enhance productivity." Jessica wasn't finished with her public presentation. "He's also completely devoted to his laptop now and quarterly reports. Very romantic atmosphere. Spreadsheets instead of conversation." Harold cleared his throat with obvious warning. "We don't need detailed commentary on your domestic arrangements, honey. I'm sharing honestly. Isn't that what good communication looks like, Austin?" She looked at me expectantly, testing whether I'd engage in front of her family. Madison set down her fork with deliberate force. "Why are you attacking him at Mom and Dad's anniversary dinner?" Jessica's expression shifted to calculated innocence. "Don't be dramatic, Madison. You've always been overly protective of Austin." "I show basic respect for Austin," Madison replied, leaning forward with mounting irritation. "That's apparently a foreign concept." Jessica laughed dismissively. "Look at my little sister, rushing to defend him like some kind of guardian angel." "At least I don't mock people who actually contribute to this family," Madison shot back. Diana stood halfway up, clearly panicked by the escalating conflict. "Girls, please." "I'm perfectly fine," I told Diana with genuine calmness. "Really?" I turned to Jessica with controlled precision. "If you need to stage a performance, choose a venue with a bigger audience. This isn't appropriate." "Don't be so sensitive about honest observation." "Respectful," I corrected firmly. "Different standard entirely." Harold placed his fork down with finality. "We invited everyone here to celebrate 50 years of marriage, not to witness you systematically dismantling whatever you two should have addressed months ago in private." Jessica shrugged with practiced indifference. "I'm simply pointing out that he's become impossible to live with recently." Madison's chair scraped against the hardwood floor. She'd reached her absolute limit with diplomatic politeness. "Then end it," Madison said, her voice cutting through the room like surgical steel. "Stop using him for financial stability while you explore recreational alternatives." Complete silence descended on the anniversary table. Jessica stared at Madison like she'd been physically slapped. "What exactly are you implying?" "You heard me perfectly clearly." Diana looked frantically between her daughters, confused and sickened by the sudden hostility. Harold's jaw tightened with the realization that this was heading somewhere darker than simple marital discord. "Madison, what are you talking about?" Diana asked with growing alarm. Madison maintained unwavering eye contact with Jessica. "Ask her about that bracelet she's wearing. Ask her how a resort hospitality coordinator affords $3,200 worth of Tiffany jewelry on her current salary. Jessica's face drained of color instantly. You're fabricating things to hurt me. Madison laughed, but without any trace of humor. That bracelet appeared in our family group chat 3 weeks ago? You posted photos calling it your performance bonus. Yesterday, I called your resort's human resources department and confirmed their incentive policies. Cash payments only, no jewelry, no exceptions, ever. The dining room temperature dropped 20 degrees. Harold stared at the bracelet on Jessica's wrist like it had materialized from another dimension. I reached into my jacket and retrieved the legal packet Marcus had delivered that morning. Everything was contained inside: filing confirmation, service documentation, Danny's photographic evidence. I placed it on Harold and Diana's anniversary table calmly, not as a weapon, but as simple fact. Actually, I said, meeting Madison's eyes with profound gratitude for her courage, I already know exactly where it came from. Diana covered her mouth. Harold stared at the packet like he could wish it away through sheer force of will. Jessica's hands trembled as she reached for the envelope. Divorce papers, I said simply. Filed 4 weeks ago. Everything's documented. Jessica's voice was barely a whisper. You did this without telling me? I was advised not to share drafts with people who prefer improvisation to honesty. Harold asked quietly, Jessica, what's going on here? Jessica's answer was silence, and the weight of truth finally settling on her shoulders. 6 months later, I got the promotion to Regional Operations Director. Jessica moved back in with Harold and Diana while she sorted out her financial situation. Richard Henley stopped returning her calls once the divorce became public knowledge. Madison and I started dating 3 months after the papers were finalized. We take things slow, build trust incrementally, and never take honesty for granted. Sometimes the best revenge is simply refusing to be anyone's placeholder.